This episode of App Judgment is brought to you by JackThreads. Hey, it's Annie and welcome to App Judgment, your source for mobile app news and reviews from Revision 3. First, as promised, an update on last week's conundrum on calendar apps. Now, I tossed this one out to you guys because I figured your solutions on this one are no doubt better than mine, and as I expected, you guys have some outside-the-box suggestions that I hadn't thought of. Like to hire a personal assistant you don't hate and then delegate all calendar duties to them. It's a win-win. That is a great idea. Now, I can't give you any monetary compensation per se or any course credit, but think of all the adventures and good times you'll have doing my calendar and my taxes. Priceless. But for real, most people seem to be pretty much on board with either some combination of iCal, Google Cal, Thunderbird, stuff like that. Dan also recommends Readle, which has a Google Calendars client that lets you manage your Google Cal off and offline along with a bunch of other features, so that's one to consider. But I think the moral of this one is Google and/or Apple pretty much own you. Case closed. Next up, a great question and answer from Tanya, who wants to know if there are any comparable games out there to the ever-popular Plants vs. Zombies. Also suggesting Animals vs. Zombies, which similarly is a line-based game that has the undead competing against a living life form, in this case, animals. But I'd say for a more dynamic twist on this theme, check out Pizza vs. Skeletons, which is an epically weird iOS game that finds a 25-foot pizza demolishing hordes of skeleton rivals over land, sea, and far beyond. And now I'm hungry. The developers warn this is not a casual game. It gets pretty hard, but luckily your pizza can withstand pretty much anything. And yes, there's a free version with 10 levels for free and a full version for $2.99. Next up, I've got an app that claims to actually let you control your own dreams. But first, a quick message from JackThreads. Only suckers pay full price. If you love alternative apparel brands like Kid Robot, Hurley, and Stussy but hate wasting all your cash on them, listen up. You can score these premium brands for up to 80% off every single day. There's a new invite-only shopping club just for guys called JackThreads, serving up street, skate, and surfwear apparel brands at prices that are gonna melt your brain. There's a waitlist to join, but if you go to jackthreads.com/appjudge now, you can jump the waitlist and get all the killer hookups right now. Oh, and did we mention it's free to join? Hit up jackthreads.com/appjudge and you can instantly start saving without ever having to leave the comfort of your own computer screen. You know that awesome feeling that you have in the morning when you wake up from an amazing dream, when you're like flying through the sky and all the clouds are everywhere and you're all carefree, and then you finally get to meet Detective Stabler from Law & Order? What? Ignore that. But yeah, if you could make that happen with an app every night, you download that, right? So I did. Problem number one, I can't read Japanese. There's some English phrases and cues that can help you figure out the basics, like choosing from a forest or beach theme, or flying, riches, romance, or a general thumbs up. All the good dreams that people have. And then you set the time and the noises associated with the dream, make sure your phone is plugged in, and drift away into dreamland. I went with the beach scene since it happened to be freezing cold in my apartment on that particular evening, and the verdict? It didn't work. I still had that same dream that I have all the time where I'm in high school and I can't find my homeroom, then like one of my teeth falls out. Which is fine because it's free, but if anyone out there can read Japanese and wants to give this a try and let me know what you think, please do, and tweet me at Annie Gauss. Finally, a question from Jose by email who writes in, sure, people play games and take pics, but what about book apps? Some of us like to read. Yes, absolutely, but reading lots of text on phones or on tablets is something that hasn't really quite taken off because a lot of people think it's worse for your eyes than, say, the e-ink that you get on e-readers. And if you look in the App Store, you'll find that the most popular book apps tend to be the Bible and kids' books, which lend themselves more to the colorful visuals that work so well on, say, the iPad. That's not to say there aren't good reading experiences on tablets or on phones. For example, iOS comes built in with Newsstand, which offers all your favorite periodicals designed specifically for that reading experience, and for the most part, they look pretty great. Of course, the challenge is to find a periodical that's actually worth reading. But if you feel differently or have a great one to recommend, as always, you can find the show on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and our homepage at revision3.com/appjudgment. And as always, leave a comment down below or find me on Twitter at Annie Gauss. See you next week.